And of course, last season, Arsenal took 4 points and didn't concede, getting that 0-0 at the Etihad. What will tomorrow bring? Well, whatever it brings, you have to say Arsenal away from home at the moment. Such an impressive record, unbeaten in the last 11 Premier League games. And as you look at this, Tim, away from home in 2024, played 11, won 10, drawn 1, and not a single defeat in those. In fact, they've only conceded 3 times. I think that just underlines that under Arteta, as he continues to strengthen that defence, that Arsenal, with every season that goes by, are becoming a more resilient side, aren't they?
Absolutely. Find different ways to win games. You saw last week in the North London derby, very an emotional game. Tottenham started very well, I felt. Couldn't open them up. I was at the game and just looking, when you're actually there, you see how comfortable they'll look just defending their box. I think the best back 5 in the Premier League, without doubt. And with Declan Rice in there, he's back from suspension. He gives them solidity, responsibility in the midfield area. The only thing is that obviously without Odegaard, who still be out missing with injury, they struggle to create at the moment. I think
Did we see that against Atalanta midweek, where, I mean, the shackles were on. They didn't get to grips with that man marking. But with Odegaard not there, in terms of possession and giving the ball away cheaply at times, his absence was pretty obvious, wasn't it?
I think so. I think obviously Declan can drive from them areas if you let him go and play as an 8. But then who are you going to have sitting in front and protecting? So if you're going away to Man City, you'd rather protect your goal. But I believe if they're going to win the Premier League, they have to take maximum points away at places like Man City. Didn't do that last year. They got a draw. It cost them in the end. They can't rely on other teams going and taking points off City. They'd have to go and do it themselves. But when you haven't got your best 2 players like last week, like Odegaard and Declan Rice, obviously Saka's in there with being their best players as well, you need to go and take maximum points in a North London derby, and I thought they all stood up and did that brilliantly. So it's on them tomorrow, but for me, I think they're going to have to open up. They're going to have to find a space, but Odegaard's a huge miss. You know, the likes of Havertz is missing him, Saka's missing him, because when they make the runs, he finds them with that pass in between the lines, you know, so... difficult scenario, and how he's going to take it, Arteta, and approach this game will be interesting to see, because
what's
your
hunch on how he approaches it?
I think he goes exactly like he did last week. You know, try and be solid, especially
last week or last season.
Last week.
Yeah.
Last week, pretty similar to last season.
Away
as
to
well.
Tottenham.
Yeah. I think on the face of it, you look here away at Man City, a draw is a good result, but. Like I say, if you're not going to take maximum points, don't rely on anyone else taking maximum points off City. And it might just come to that 1 or 2 points at the end of the season. So perhaps you might be tempted to go for it and take maximum.
But psychologically, Sue, that win away to Tottenham a week ago without a key player like Odegaard, Rice suspended as well. He'll be back, of course, for tomorrow's game. Psychologically, that's a big boost, isn't it?
Yeah, I think to go and win, like you say, with a depleted team, of course, that makes it even more impressive. And that's the big question, is what approach are they going to take against Manchester City? Because I remember last season where some were saying, well, could they have actually gone for it? Could they have gone for the 3 points? But it's so difficult to do against a Manchester City side that's full of quality. We know how strong Arsenal are defensively with Gabriel and Saliba and the players in front. So you just think the game's going to be won on small margins, like it was against Tottenham. So you think a set piece comes, you know how key they are and how strong they are at set pieces. So they just looked, like Tim said, so well drilled, so structured, so organised. And then when a set piece come, you knew that the delivery was going to be good. And, you know, it's a great header, isn't it? Tottenham will be very disappointed. Tim's very disappointed just watching that again. But yeah, that's the thing. They highlighted it as maybe a weakness of Tottenham's, and they know that it's a strength of theirs. But really strong header from Gabriel.
And he's made building, Boydie, that defence an absolute priority. They've only conceded 1 goal so far this season. I think that's their joint best defensive start in any top division season. I was reading a column by Jamie Carragher this week, and he was talking about that partnership of Gabriel and Saliba. And he says, if they stay together, if they stay at the club, this could be a partnership that ends up being on a level with those famous partnerships that we saw between John Terry and Carvalho at Chelsea, Nemanja Vidic and Rio Ferdinand at United. Could they be that good? Are they that kind of level potentially?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing on that would be Arsenal need to start winning for them to be in that category.
The trophy cabinet.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
filled
like,
again.
You look at players, and there's, I think, in terms of that partnership, and you go back through even Arsenal over the years as well. You know, you could relate to other partnerships that they've had, but they've been successful, so they'll be ahead of them at this moment in time. Looking at, Arsenal, I think Ben White goes under the radar as well. I think the job he does. That left side has been an issue. They've chopped and changed, but Timber's come in there, and obviously he probably would have been the one last year, but with the injury he had. But he looks as if he's never been away in that left-hand side. But I mean, if you go back to this time last year, and people were questioning about the arrival of David Raya and Ramsdale being out of the team, and you've got to say, you look at the other two, Liverpool and not so much maybe Liverpool, but Man City, they had a problem with the goalkeeping area, and the managers made that decision that they were going to change them and go and get. And there have been two pivotal players in the success that both of those clubs have had. David Raya is in that bracket now. I mean, you speak about Gabriel and Saliba and the solidity they've got there, but David Raya is key to that as well. They've got full confidence in him now. At the start, there was questions, there was pressure. Ramsdale had done so well, he had made saves. Mikel Arteta knew exactly what he was doing here, and this is the real deal in nets now. And that double save by Raya midweek in the Champions League was absolutely incredible. Right, let's get some predictions from the guys ahead of tomorrow's second part of Super Sunday. I kind of think I know where you're going, Tim, on this one because of what you said already. You're going for a draw.
I'm not going for a draw.
You're not?
No. I think City will win. I think it'll be 1-0. I just think that it might not be Haaland. I think you occupy Gabriel and Saliba, and I think it might be a Jack Grealish, come to the party and score, one of the 10s where he occupies the space just behind him. So for me, I'm just going to say Man City 1-0.
Sue, what are you going for?
I am going for a draw. I'm going for a 0-0. That's two draws, but an exciting 0-0. So make sure you do tune into it.
Well rescued. Boydie.
I'm going to tune in for that 0-0.
It'll be a real exciting one, end to end.
I'm going to say 1-0 Arsenal.
1-0 Arsenal. Wow. 1-0 to the...
Team News Manchester City midfielder Kevin De Bruyne could be involved despite being forced off at halftime against Inter Milan on Wednesday. Nathan Ake and Oscar Bob remain on the sidelines. Arsenal welcome back Declan Rice to Premier League football after he missed the win over Tottenham last weekend due to suspension. Midfielders Martin Odegaard and Mikel Merino are still out, along with defenders Kieran Tierney, Takahiro Tomiyasu and Oleksandr Zinchenko. Match facts head-to-head Manchester City are unbeaten in 9 home league games against Arsenal since a 2-0 defeat in January 2015 W7 D2. The 4 points Arsenal won against City last season was double the amount they managed across their previous 15 top-flight meetings. The Gunners kept a clean sheet in both league encounters with City last season, having conceded at least once in their previous 16 clashes. Arsenal's only goal in their last 6 visits to the Etihad was scored by Rob Holding in a 4-1 defeat in April 2023. Arsenal have won 99 of the 211 meetings in all competitions D47, L65. In their history, they have only recorded 100 wins against Everton, while it is the most defeats City have suffered against an opponent. Manchester City are looking to become the first team in English top-flight history to win their opening 5 league matches in 5 seasons. City have won 13 consecutive top-flight games since a 0-0 home draw against Arsenal on March 31st. They are on a club record run of 47 successive home matches unbeaten in all competitions since a 2-1 defeat against Brentford in November 2022. Pep Guardiola has only 1 more fixtures as Manchester City manager against Burnley 17 than he has versus Arsenal 16. City have equaled their longest run of consecutive Premier League home matches without a clean sheet under Guardiola of 6. Erling Haaland's tally of 9 goals in the opening 4 league games this season is the most by a top-flight player since 1951-52, when Jack Rowley also scored 9 and 4 for Manchester United. The fewest appearances any player has taken to reach double figures in a Premier League campaign is 6, by Mick Quinn in 1992-93 and Haaland himself in 2022-23. Haaland is aiming to become only the second player after Luis Suarez in December 2013 to score multiple goals in 4 consecutive Premier League appearances. He has scored more Premier League goals this season than any of the other 19 top-flight clubs. Arsenal have won 6 consecutive Premier League away games since drawing 0-0 at Manchester City on March 31st. The Gunners could become the first side in Premier League history to go 12 successive matches without trailing in an away match. They have kept a clean sheet in 9 of their past 10 away league fixtures. However, Arsenal have only won 3 of their 29 Premier League away matches against the reigning champions. Since the start of last season, Mikel Arteta's side have scored an unrivaled 24 top-flight goals from set pieces, excluding penalties. Arteta has lost 9 competitive matches as a manager against City, 3 more than he has versus any other opponent. He is aiming to become only the second coach after Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United to keep 3 consecutive top-flight clean sheets against a team managed by Pep Guardiola. Bukayo Saka could become only the second player after Thierry Henry in 2004 to 2005 to provide an assist in each of a team's first 5 Premier League matches to a season.